Building on that idea, maintenance logs with timestamps and owners serve as the primary record of work performed. Each entry should include start and end times, responsible individuals, tasks completed, and affected components. Time correlation matters because it links maintenance to system performance or incident events. For example, if a log shows a storage array upgrade at noon and performance alerts at 12:30, investigators know exactly where to look. Logs written promptly and consistently provide the first layer of credibility. They also preserve context for auditors, showing that maintenance followed an orderly sequence rather than improvisation. Accuracy in logging is evidence of control.
Equally critical is maintaining a parts and tools chain of custody. Every spare part, diagnostic device, or installation medium must be traceable from source to use. Chain of custody documentation confirms authenticity and prevents substitution of counterfeit or tampered items. Consider a technician installing new memory modules. Each module's serial number should match the procurement record, with delivery date and storage location documented. Tools like calibration devices or firmware loaders should also be logged to verify that no unauthorized equipment was introduced. Chain of custody control reassures stakeholders that maintenance inputs were as trustworthy as the work itself. Provenance equals protection.
Before and after each maintenance activity, pre- and post-validation results demonstrate effectiveness and reversibility. Pre-validation establishes a baseline system state, configuration, or performance before changes occur. Post-validation confirms that the system meets expected conditions after work completes. For instance, before a firmware update, teams record checksum values and uptime metrics. Afterward, they confirm restored connectivity and unchanged data integrity. These paired results prove that maintenance achieved its purpose without side effects. When issues arise later, such records separate genuine degradation from unrelated faults. Validation data turns maintenance from anecdote into measurement, providing hard evidence of assurance.
Remote session records and transcripts carry equal importance when maintenance occurs off-site. Session records should capture user identity, connection time, commands executed, and system responses. Transcripts or recordings allow reconstruction of every step in case of dispute or incident review. Imagine an external technician patching a production server remotely. If a service outage follows, the transcript reveals whether a command was mistyped or the fault pre-existed. Transparent recording builds trust on both sides. It protects the operator from blame and the organization from uncertainty. When remote sessions leave a clear trail, distance no longer dilutes accountability. Temporary access creation and revocation records show that elevated privileges were granted safely and then withdrawn. Each temporary credential should list the requester, approver, purpose, and expiration time. Revocation logs confirm closure, proving that access did not persist beyond need. A simple example: a database administrator receives temporary root access for 4 hours to apply patches. At session end, an automated script disables that credential and logs the action. This practice eliminates lingering risk and demonstrates active lifecycle control. Auditors value this evidence because it converts trust into verified restraint, proving that permission was as temporary as promised. Maintenance also involves media handling, scanning, and disposition proofs. Any portable media used for diagnostics, backups, or updates must follow documented handling procedures. Before use, the media should be scanned for malware and verified for authenticity. After use, it must be wiped, stored, or destroyed per policy. Each step should leave evidence, such as scan logs, sanitization certificates, or destruction receipts. For example, a technician using an external drive to collect logs from a control system should produce proof of post-use sanitization. These details prevent cross-contamination between environments and demonstrate hygienic handling of digital tools. Control of media equals control of exposure. Calibration and certification evidence records apply when specialized tools or sensors are used. Instruments like torque wrenches, voltmeters, or environmental monitors must function within known tolerances. Calibration certificates, issued by accredited facilities, confirm that readings are accurate and current. Maintenance activities that rely on these instruments should attach valid calibration proofs. For instance, replacing a power regulator with a calibrated tester verifies voltage stability within standard limits. Expired or missing certifications undermine trust in results. Tracking calibration evidence ensures that data derived from tools remains credible. Precision in instruments mirrors precision in oversight. Oversight extends beyond internal teams to third-party qualifications and artifacts. External service providers must demonstrate their competence through certifications, background checks, and adherence to approved processes. Oversight records might include copies of vendor training credentials, non-disclosure agreements, and service reports. For example, if a contracted specialist updates control system firmware, their report should include technician identity, training evidence, and validation steps performed. Collecting and reviewing these artifacts prevents blind reliance on vendor promises. It also enforces parity. Outside partners meet the same standards as internal staff. Oversight documentation converts dependency into documented assurance. Occasionally, exceptions or waivers allow deviation from standard maintenance procedures. These must be documented, justified, and time-limited, with expiry tracking to ensure closure. A waiver may permit temporary use of uncalibrated tools due to emergency replacement, providing compensating controls exist. Each exception should specify the reason, approver, and expiration date. Once conditions normalize, closure evidence confirms compliance restored. Without expiry tracking, temporary allowances become permanent shortcuts. Effective management of exceptions shows balance, flexibility without erosion of standards. Accountability lies not in never granting waivers, but in managing them transparently from start to finish. Common pitfalls in maintenance documentation often stem from inconsistency and complacency. Missing timestamps, unsigned approvals, or mismatched serial numbers weaken trust quickly. Another trap is treating templates as formality rather than living records, copying forward outdated information that no longer reflects reality. Corrective patterns include peer review of logs, automated checks for blank fields, and periodic refresher training on documentation standards. For instance, a weekly audit of maintenance tickets can spot trends before they become systemic flaws. The key is catching drift early. The discipline of record-keeping mirrors the discipline of maintenance itself, constant small corrections that prevent large failures. Governance reviews and retention timelines close the loop by ensuring that evidence remains available and relevant. Governance defines who reviews maintenance artifacts, how often, and under what criteria. Retention policies specify how long records must be kept to satisfy operational, legal, and audit needs. For example, high-risk system maintenance logs might require 5-year retention with annual review for completeness. These reviews verify that records remain readable, organized, and accessible. Governance keeps documentation alive, not forgotten in archives. It turns maintenance evidence into an asset, knowledge preserved rather than clutter stored.
Read aloud this text in U.S. accent. In closing, credible and repeatable maintenance evidence separates mature programs from improvised ones. When logs, approvals, validation data, and oversight records form a coherent trail, maintenance becomes demonstrably controlled. Evidence protects the organization from doubt, accelerates investigations, and proves reliability to auditors and partners alike. The true mark of discipline is that every action leaves behind proof sturdy enough to answer questions long after the work is done. In maintenance, as in all assurance activities, credibility is not claimed. It is shown, recorded, and repeatable every single time.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit DailyCyber.News.